Okay, this is going to be just an easy knit class. It's just going to show you how to knit. I'm going to teach you how to do the knit stitch, which is very easy. And it's going to be a real easy project. These are some of the things when I taught my girls how to knit. I showed them how to make these little wristlets. Okay, it's just a continuous knit. You can see it. This is what's called the garter stitch because it's knitting every row. You can see the different kinds that they did. I can show you later on how to add different colors so you can make a striped version, but it's just knit and then the girls sewed this up. So it's very easy for a beginner to do. And they're really, it's just a little wristlet that they use, just like that. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is cast on. And if you're unfamiliar with casting on, you can check out our other video that we did on casting on. We have 3 different types, and I'm going to use the long tail cast on, and I'm going to cast on 30 stitches. The needles I'm going to use is US size 6. Okay, I'm going to use 2 different colors because when you first learning to knit, it's better to have 2 different colors so you know where you began and where you ended. Because sometimes you don't get to finish a row because it takes you longer to knit across when you're first learning. So this way you know when you stop in the middle of your project, I stop with the purple and can need to continue this way. Alright? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our cast on, do our long tail for us. And I'm going to cast on 30 stitches. So I'm going to make my slip knot. Okay. And my needle here. Then I'm going to do 30 stitches. And I'm going to count my slip knot as my first stitch, okay? So I have 1, now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and continue on until you have 30. Okay, if you do the long tail cast on, you might have some extra yarn at the end here that you didn't use. You can take your scissors and cut it off to about here. You don't want to cut it up too close because then you'll lose your stitches out. Or you can leave it and use this to help sew up your wristlet at the end. Okay? So now we have our 30 stitches. Okay? We're going to take this needle and we're going to put it in our left hand. Alright? We have our working yarn here. So you can see, if you hold your needle this way, we have the beginning yarn to the left. We have our working yarn to the right. Okay? So we're going to turn our needle and put it in our left hand. We're going to take our empty needle for our right hand. Okay. You can see that I pushed them a little bit down, not too far because I don't want them to fall off, but I've pushed them down. And I'm going to take my right needle and I'm going to take it and put it in this stitch, in the back of the stitch underneath the needle. See how I did that? Just like that. Okay? And I'm going to hold this needle on because if you let it drop, it's going to fall out. So just hold it up there however you feel comfortable getting it held. Grab your working yarn, which is to the right of you. Wrap it around that bottom needle and kind of, you can see how it's up here. You're going to pull it underneath. Okay? Then you're going to slowly, now I've taught my girls to use their left index finger here to push that needle slowly. And you see how I have the other yarn? I'm holding it, the working yarn. And you can see what it looks like here. And I'm going to take the tip of my needle and pull it through. Okay? Now I'm going to push off the purple needle, push that stitch off the purple needle, and I have 1 stitch on my red needle. Okay? I know what I'm doing. Now I'm going to do it again, underneath, Take my working yarn and wrap it. Push it down easy, not too fast. And then I'm going to pull the yarn off my purple needle. Now I have 2 stitches on my red needle. I'll show you a few more times. Okay, here we go. Underneath. Wrap my working yarn around. Pull it down and pull that yarn through and push the yarn off the purple needle. So you're just going to continue that way until you have all 30 stitches off the purple needle and onto your red needle. You'll be using different color needles, but this is why I suggested to use 2 different colors so that you can really see what's going on with your yarn and when you're making your stitches. Alright, so I'm going to finish all my stitches here and then show you how to continue. Okay, now you can see that my purple needle is empty of all stitches and the red needle has all of my stitches right here. You can see how it's starting to come down a little bit. Alright, so now we're just going to switch hands. This red needle is going to be in my left hand, working needle to the right, extra yarn to the left, and it'll be on the back. You can see where the extra yarn is at the tail now. Okay, we're going to take our purple needle, push these up a little bit, that way you don't, when you're knitting, you're not pulling your stitches too tight. So get them up a little bit and learn to hold on to them with your hand, your left hand, okay? So again, we're starting our next row. We're just going to take our needle, put it underneath just like this, hold on to that needle, wrap our working yarn around, push it down, pull that yarn through, and push that yarn off that red needle. And you're just going to continue doing so. Now don't pull those stitches too tight, because you really don't want it to be that tight. You can be, which is kind of difficult for the tension for you to understand until you've been knitting for a little while, and then you can kind of see the difference. But you want a nice tension on this. You don't want to be pulling it so tight where your stitches are binding up. And you don't want them to be so loose that you have big gaps between them. Okay? That's something that you have to just kind of learn on your own as you knit, because you can feel it in your hands on how tight the stitches are. But you can see, and just continue knitting just like this. You're just doing a knit stitch. You're not doing anything else, so this is going to be it's just very easy. Just going to continue to knit all the stitches on the left needle over to the right, and you can see how on your left needle, when you've got it so short, you can see how it's curling right here. Just straighten it back out. Just continue to straighten it out as you knit so that you don't curl your project. And the longer your project gets, the easier the knitting gets. Okay? It'll get easier and easier as you go. The knitting's just very simple. Just like that. Underneath, pull your working yarn and pull it out. You're going to just continue. You can already see, I'm sure, how it's coming down. And I'm going to finish out my row. Then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm on my last stitch here for my second row. And I'm sure that when you've gotten to your last stitch, you've noticed it's looser than the rest of them. And sometimes you may have a problem with it falling off. Just really grab it. Okay, when you're first beginning to knit. You'll learn your own technique as you go. When you're first learning to knit, it's a little frustrating when that last stitch keeps wanting to fall off. Just grab your needles like I've got them, and then take that yarn and wrap it around, and then pull it through like that. And you can pull your tail here just a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit to kind of make that last stitch get in there. Okay?